welcome to a very special edition of the Super Ladies of the LPWA. I'm Joe Pedicino here in our LPWA News Center along with my cohort, Jim Cornette.
Cohort? Wait a minute, that makes it sound like I'm some kind of indicted felon or something.
Well, there have been rumors out of Louisville, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, what we want to talk about are the three special editions of the Super Ladies coming up: the good, the bad, and the champions.
That's right. We're in the first week of a three-part look at all the top ladies in the LPWA, the good, the bad, and the champions. Like you said, the title picture, we're going to be making special announcements about what you're going to see from the LPWA coming up in the very near future. A lot of big things going on, not only here, but all around the world.
Well, speaking of around the world, the reason for these special shows is because all of the LPWA lady wrestlers are on a worldwide tour.
And they didn't invite me.
Well, very strange, isn't that, Jim?
Can't figure it out.
Half of the ladies are over in Europe, and the other half are in the Pacific Rim over in Japan.
They told me I could go to Guatemala.
Well, that's good because, you see, they're not wrestling in Guatemala, so that's probably why they thought it would be good to have you there.
Well, who are we going to look at on this show today?
The good. Today we're
taking like Magnificent Mimi and the Queen's Court and...
Have you been taking
something? Well, wait a minute.
Are you still on that medicine?
Who are we looking at?
We're going to be taking a look at Bambi and Reggie Bennett. We're also going to be taking a look at Terry Power, all of the good that goes on in the LPWA. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a special look at the good of the LPWA. Be with us.
Good riddance.
Well, fans, we saw just a couple of minutes ago the rankings in the LPWA, and as you can see, the ladies are moving up and down in that top 10, and that's going to be very important.
Did you see Bambi? Bambi is ranked in the top contenders in the LPWA.
Well, she should be.
No, she shouldn't be.
Yes, I think she should be.
She couldn't beat anybody. Anybody that Bambi could beat ain't worth nothing.
Well, I think Mimi might have something to say about that.
That's right, because I heard that in the next couple of weeks here on LPWA television, as soon as they get back from that worldwide tour, Bambi gets her long-awaited rematch with Magnificent Mimi. You know, Mimi injured her not too long ago. Well, as a matter of fact, it's been quite a while ago, and Bambi has been wanting to get revenge ever since. I think Mimi is going to take Bambi apart when that match takes place.
Friend, you are still on that
medicine. Don't call me your friend.
Yeah, you obviously...
That's not been established yet.
You still are obviously on that medicine, because if you think Bambi is going to sit there and let Mimi take her apart, you are sadly mistaken. It is just not going to happen. As a matter
why don't you call Bambi up on the phone? I know you do it all the time with Terry Power. Call Bambi up and see what she thinks about the whole thing.
Well, let me tell you what we've got coming up now. We're going to take a look at a segment of Bambi on the road. This is from the early days of the LPWA. Ken Resnick at that time was interviewing some of the ladies out on the road.
Used to be in wrestling?
Used to be, yeah. And right now, though, we're going to see that. Then we're going to see Bambi and Candy Divine. No pushover. We're going to see that match coming up. And then we'll also be talking about how you can talk to Bambi by calling 1-900-456-LPWA. Take a look, though, at Bambi.
Can't wait to see Candy Divine either. You know, Candy is dandy.
Hi, I'm Ken Resnick, and today, believe me, we are really on the road in the LPWA. But with me is Bambi, and Bambi, this is about as fitting a setting as I could think of, one coming out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. But first question, I want to know, is that smile of yours chiseled on? I don't think I've ever seen you without it.
Well, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here, and it's a beautiful day, and this is my kind of setting because this is where I'm from, the country, and I love it.
You know, Bambi, we kind of call you the country girl, but all kidding aside, you come out of Stone Mountain, Georgia. What was it like growing up in the South?
Well, I love it. The South, the people's friendly, and it's home, you know. Everybody's at home whether you're a stranger or not, and that's where I come from. So when I go out to the arenas, I want everybody to come up and talk to me because I just love meeting people. And, you know, the South is great. I love wrestling down there. I love wrestling all over. But it seems like wrestling at home, you know, all the home folks come out and cheer me on. It's a great joy.
I don't know if it's your smile or your personality or what, but I noticed a little while ago back behind where we are, there were some animals, and to you, they just kind of come right up and eat right out of your hand.
Well, I love it. You know, I love going to the zoo and all the different animals, and there is some back there, and you know, it's like home to me because, you know, farm animals, any kind of animals, I just love it. I love getting out and doing things.
You know, it's always been interesting to me, and a question I've always wanted to ask you. You're always so happy-go-lucky, so great with kids, animals, everything. How did you get into professional wrestling? I mean, pro wrestling is a very violent sport.
Well, it's just something I grew up with. As a kid, my dad used to take me to the matches. We used to go every week. And it's just something that I always wanted to do ever since I was about 9 years old. I said, I love wrestling, and that's what I want to be. And I was fortunate enough to get into the sport, and that's it.
What kind of goals have you set for yourself here in the LPWA?
Well, I think every athlete's dream is to be a champion, and no matter what kind of sport you're in, you want to be the best at it. And so I want to go out there and just be the best I can be, and hopefully maybe one day that'll be the champion.
She is indeed the country girl, Bambi. On the road, the LPWA, I'm Ken Resnick.
This bout is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Nashville, Tennessee, weighing 132 pounds, Candy Divine. And her opponent this evening from Stone Mountain, Georgia, weighing 138 pounds, Bambi.
Oh, no, Joe. She just likes to make me, she is so inordinately, unusually happy all the time. Bambi is so cheerful that it just
that's the way she looks at life. That's the way they are down in Georgia. She is just enjoying life, and she loves being in the ring and wrestling. She loves being around her fans here in the LPWA. She's one of the most respected and most loved wrestlers in the LPWA. She has every right to be happy. And she has gotten an opportunity to show us against magnificent Mimi that she can hold her own. So therefore...
Well, I'm not interested in whether she holds her own or somebody else's. The point is, she's Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs' favorite wrestler.
That's right.
And she's going to have a Foggy Mountain breakdown here in this match against Candy Divine, who is also from the South. She's from Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
Stereo. Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. So if anything, she should have been the one coming out to the music instead of Bambi.
Well, right now she has got a wrist lock and uses the hair to pull down. Now, the referee didn't see it, but our camera angle showed it. But, of course, Candy Divine denying that she pulled her down by the hair, but we all saw it.
I didn't see it. I'm just being honest with you, Joe. I'm not trying to get on you, Joe.
And there it happens again. She pulls her down. That time, the camera angle didn't show it, but Bambi is claiming once again that she pulled her down by the hair.
We've been too argumentative lately, Joe. We need to be nicer to each other. And I'm just saying, she didn't use the hair. Candy Divine.
Oh, now that time we saw it just plain as day.
Wait.
And now Bambi says, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Pulls down Candy Divine, and now one arm drag. There's another arm drag, and she's got Divine down on the mat now. And, of course, Divine claiming she pulled her hair.
I saw it.
I did, too.
Well, there you go.
What's
Bambi's
good for the goose is good for the gander.
We're not talking about geese or ganders here. We're talking about lady wrestlers. And she pulled Candy Divine's hair. That's what I'm saying.
Don't deny it. I agree wholeheartedly.
Thank you. I'm glad we agree.
Oh, now stomp right to the face.
Well, Candy Divine, she's showing that she can more than hold her own. Against Bambi, a vicious double chop right to the chest. Takes Bambi down, a sledge across the back. She's continuing the punishment. Candy Divine, we've seen her before, and she is one tough lady.
Well, she's one of the top lady wrestlers in the world. She wrestles, of course, in Japan. She just got back from a tour of Europe where she was in the finals of a big ladies tournament over in Europe in Austria. And now she has come back to the LPWA, and her first match that we've seen in a while now, she is taking on Bambi. And I think she's out to show us that she is ready to take on. Now, look at this, though. Almost a roll-up, and Bambi almost got the 3 count on that one. I think that one took Candy by surprise.
I'll tell you, Candy Divine now on the defensive as Bambi has mounted an attack and goes behind with the rear chin lock. Candy Divine was telling me about her European tour, very successful. She came up, she told me she spent 2 weeks in Greece. I said, I've been in a little hot water here lately myself. But right now, Bambi is staying on top of her, trying to cut off that flow of oxygen to the brain, which got a beautiful mare over.
Absolutely. Beautiful move by Candy Divine. I've always said that Candy is one of the better wrestlers in ladies wrestling. Unfortunately, she uses tactics like that.
Effective tactics.
Well, but she yanked her hair. I mean, she pulled her around by the hair and slammed her head. There's a noggin knocker.
Now let's not talk about noggin knockers on this show. But the match has stayed nip and tuck so far through the whole contest. Candy Divine and Bambi, with Divine right now maintaining control with her own version of the rear chin lock. And once again, oh my God, she snapped her neck and at the same time brought her over. Bambi fighting. When Bambi hears these cheers from the crowd, she starts firing up, and that's exactly what seems to be happening. The people are on Bambi's side, but Divine's still on top of the situation.
Well, not right now. Look at that beautiful move. Now it's a matter of strength. Will Bambi have the power to pull her over? She gets her over, but Candy Divine able to slip out, so she gets out of that pinning situation, but I think she has got Bambi a little bit, well, we said miffed a while ago. I think everybody is miffed today.
Oh, point of the elbow right to the sternum. That should have been investigated by the referee. Count of 2, but Divine powers out. Bambi going back now. A big scoop and a full body slam. Bambi taking it to Candy Divine. Divine seems to be unable at this point to come out with any kind of offense. Beautiful clothesline.
Now, Bambi just got Divine down. This is where she should be going for a pin, and she is. 1, 2, and Divine kicks out right at the 2 count. And now Divine is the one that is in control of the match, throws Bambi in, and now her version of a clothesline.
You got to admire these ladies' cardiovascular conditioning as well.
One more time, Candy says.
They've been going full tilt through the whole match. She missed it.
Well, she said one more time. She telegraphed that move to Bambi. Bambi knew what was coming, and Bambi as much as said, Candy, if you tell me what you're going to do, I'm going to counter it. And now, Bambi 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in the head, 6, 7, 8. The crowd counting along 10 times.
Right on the ear, too. Now, Bambi sends her corner to corner, but Candy reverses it. Candy's going into the turnbuckles, but she missed it. Wait a minute.
Here it comes. That's it. The Georgia Bulldog right there from Bambi. And that wraps up this one. You can put it away. A 3 count, and the Georgia Bulldog wins it for Bambi over Candy Divine.
And the winner of the bout, Bambi!
Well, she calls that move the Georgia Bulldog after her favorite football team. And this time it put away one of the top wrestlers in the world in Candy Divine.
Candy Divine and Bambi, and I think Candy Divine is going to take offense to some of the things you had to say earlier about her.
Let me tell you something. I think it's a travesty of justice. Alibaba and all 40 thieves could not have come up with a bigger ripoff than Bambi beating Candy Divine.
Well,
but I don't even want to talk about it.
What was it you said a little bit earlier about anybody that would let Bambi beat them? And I know we're talking about your girlfriend here.
Wait, don't put words in my mouth. I can do that very well, thank you. The whole thing is Bambi cheated, and that's all I want to talk about. We got other things to talk about. Who's coming up next? Hold on, I'll find my place here. Hold on. Who's that? Don't tell me. I'll come up with it.
Reggie Bennett.
Reggie Bennett's coming up next. Reggie Bennett, and we're going to see...
on the road segment.
And on the road segment with Reggie Bennett, and then she's going to wrestle somebody.
Judy Martin. Judy
Martin. She will wrestle. See, I'm on top of this stuff. She will wrestle Judy Martin. And I understand that everybody.
The only thing you're missing is the place in the back for somebody to put their hand, but go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I'll put my hand up your back in a second. I understand that everybody else is calling the LPWA Superline 1-900-456-LPWA. Not only can you talk to the girls like Reggie Bennett, Terry Power, Bambi, Malaya Hosaka, but you can also leave personal messages for them that they will answer along with viewer mail on the Superline. Yeah. Well, I've got a couple messages I'd like to leave Reggie Bennett, who's over in Japan right now, by the way, on the big tour. With Terry Power's over there, too.
Yeah, but looking for Denise Storm, I might add. When they get back, Reggie Bennett's going to have some things to take care of with Denise Storm over that situation on the LPWA title. But right now, let's go to that on the road segment, and then we will see Reggie Bennett take on Judy Martin.
Today, I'm on a rather hidden stretch of on the road in the LPWA with Reggie Bennett. And Reg, I think it's fitting because it seems like you kind of want to be a little bit alone with your thoughts. I know the devastating and very honestly what could be crippling and career-ending injury to Shelly Francis at the hands of Bad Black and Beautiful has got to be very tough to deal with.
Kennedy is tough to deal with. It's a shame that this had to happen. I had a real good tag team partner in Shelly, and it bothers me, but things have got to go on.
Well, there's no question you and Shelly Francis certainly had a bright future, but underlying the injury aspect in any professional sport, be it professional football, auto racing, what have you, when someone you work very closely with and develop a bond between is seriously injured, what does that do to your psyche?
Well, it does mess with your mind a bit there, Ken, but you can't dwell on the negative part of the wrestling. It's a very physical sport, and you have to go out there and wrestle the best match that you possibly can.
Do you think with that injury, I'm sure it's always in the back of your mind, that you may find yourself beginning to wrestle a little bit more conservatively than you normally have, just to try basically and guard against injury?
No, I'm going out there, I'm honing my skills, I'm getting a lot of training in, I'm running, I'm getting my wind up, and I'm trying to be the best wrestler that I possibly can. So you can't hold back.
Now, what does the future hold for Reggie Bennett? Are you going to look for another tag team partner and pursue tag team wrestling, or perhaps look more towards singles competition?
Well, losing Shelley had a big part, with all this. So I'm thinking very seriously about considering doing single matches more. I'd like a shot at the title.
What about your workouts? I know right after the injury it was a little tough to get motivated, but do you find yourself becoming the Reggie Bennett of old?
Yeah, slowly but surely I am.
Of course, not admitting to it, as you notice.
Well, about as to be expected.
Well, a lot of times you can say, I pulled her down by the hair, and if the guy asks you, did you pull her by the hair? Say, yeah, but did you see it?
Well, she did it. We certainly saw it there. It was very clear, but you've got to give Rusty Thomas credit. Keeps the referee out of position. Now Reggie Bennett back to her feet. Rusty again, even there using more leverage. So far it's been all Rusty Thomas early on. Maybe what Reggie needs is to get beaten up enough where she kind of gets mad. But so far it's not the Reggie Bennett we're used to seeing. And now Rusty Thomas just stands right on that shoulder and throat.
A lot of times that's exactly what it takes. Some of the people, especially the big ones and the strong ones, they've got a kind of an easy disposition about things. They're not as feisty and as on edge as, say, the smaller athlete. Because the smaller athlete knows what he's got to do. So then all of a sudden, when you stir them up enough, believe me, when something that big and powerful becomes a hornet's nest, then you got problems.
Well, right now, Reggie Bennett with a hammerlock on Rusty Thomas. Thomas looks like trying to make her way to the ropes, but she's got a mountain to move in Reggie Bennett. Now Bennett lets go of the hammerlock, goes for a headlock.
I'm not sure I can agree that it was a smart thing. When you've got a good hold on someone and it seems to be baffling them, don't leave it to go to something else because you think you're going to gain some more advantage.
Now she goes back to the hammerlock.
Yeah.
The old adage, if it's not broke, don't be so quick to fix it.
Exactly. She must have heard us. Figured I better get back to where I was going, but
she goes, let's see, Nick Bockwinkel was world champion 4 times. I better pay attention to him. But there, that leverage, she got a little too far forward, and Rusty Thomas able to whip her over and gain a count of 1. I don't think Rusty really thought she could pick up a pin, but just figuring at least break the hold. Now Reggie continues to take a beating in the corner. Rusty holds on. Oh, Rusty made a mistake. She broke a little too long, and Reggie comes out of the corner. I think Reggie's dander may be up a little bit because she's suddenly hammering away at Rusty Thomas. Takes her over now with a heel throw. And this time goes right to work, continues to stay on her.
They call that a snap mare, and you can understand why it's a snap, because whoop, you come over hard and fast and furious.
Now Rusty Thomas decides to bail out. Discretion is the better part of valor, which also translates sometimes to it's better to be a live chicken than a dead duck.
You got it.
And I can't blame Rusty for not wanting to do more battle with Reggie Bennett. It's almost like she's kind of slowly awakening a sleeping giant as Rusty now climbs back into the ring.
I think she's going to emotionally, if there's been a little bit a dent in her spirit as far as her partner being hurt, Reggie's going to come back from it. I'm sure of it.
Rusty made a mistake there. I don't know what she was trying to do, but she jumped right into the arms of Reggie Bennett. And you don't think of powerful arms that can bench 285 pounds, can crack a rib or two. Just ask Rusty Thomas. Take a look at the pain showing on her face. That she is able to just snap those arms and affect that inner ear and does it again. It's like a set of cymbals going off inside your head. Not painful, but boy, does it hurt.
I'm afraid, in looking at these two ladies, that I'd have to get myself a short haircut.
Now, Rusty trying to set her up.
Oh, backslide.
Backfired. Reggie turned her over, count of 2. And 2 is all, but very close. Rusty now going, picks up her toe hold and takes her down. Now drapes that lower leg across the bottom rope. Standing right on it. Boy, that could hyperextend the knee if she's not careful the way she comes down on it.
Just the pain on the side of the ankle is enough, regardless of what happens to the knee. I can tell you from experience.
Rusty holds on. Now splitting up, going right to the work on the hamstring area of Reggie Bennett. I'd have to say so far in this one, Rusty Thomas has had much the better of it for the most part.
Yes, she has. And I think for whatever reason, it's what we talked about earlier in the match. And that is that Reggie Bennett's spirit seems to be down a little.
It really does. And now Reggie with a powerful body scissors on Rusty Thomas, and she's got just as much strength in those legs as she does in that upper body.
You can see, look at the power in her arms and her upper body as well, and she's probably got the strongest set of legs in the LPWA.
Certainly the strongest set of arms. at benching
Well,
too close to 300 pounds.
You look at who's
Terry Power.
Terry Power, yes. I mean, you know, it might be a contest between the two of them.
And right now, Reggie Bennett with a full Nelson on Rusty Thomas, and that's got to be putting some pressure on that back vertebrae with the tremendous strength Reggie has in that upper body. Referee checking. Rusty Thomas not about to submit. Trying now to hook her around, and is able to do so, and comes right down with a toe hold. Nice move by Rusty Thomas.
One of the things you're seeing here is what is the chess game of wrestling. And then for every move, for every hold, there's something that'll counter it. And I mean, here we were looking at basically almost a full Nelson, and then all of a sudden we looked at what legs came into play and eradicated the arms.
And Reggie snaps her over.
Good suplex.
Now goes for a cover. Splash, just a count of about 1.5. And Rusty Thomas decides to bail out once again.
Absolutely. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. See, the people are booing, but what you got to understand, when a quarterback on Sunday runs to the sidelines, they call it smart football.
Yep.
So I'm not quite sure why they want to boo this person.
Well, I have to say the crowd is behind Reggie Bennett no matter what. No matter what Rusty Thomas did, I think she'd be the brunt of the bruise here.
So that in Philadelphia, let's say that Montana will be booed for running onto the sidelines.
I guarantee he'll be booed for hitting Roger Craig with a long one. That I can tell you.
Okay.
And now Reggie Bennett with a toe hold. Count of 1 as Rusty Thomas just drops her shoulders, enduring the pain.
Making the ankle longer. She shouldn't really complain. She may be taller. Oh, this is nice too. You know, right to the very back, you can see the pressure from the arm right on the shin bone and the hyperextension of
that calf. You won't have to worry about shin splints, and that calf is stretched out that way.
Oh, no. I must have been a little bit insane. I allowed myself to go through this.
Yeah, but all you have to do, any question, just check your bank account.
Well, that might be true, but then I have to go to the doctor as much as I do the bank.
Reggie again holding on to that leg. But I know 4 times wearing that belt around your waist, emblematic of the world's heavyweight champion, probably made some of the pain go away. As handful of hair, not legal, but it's certainly effective. As Rusty Thomas now hammers away at the back of Reggie Bennett. Reggie fighting her way to her feet.
Ooh.
Hammering away at Rusty Thomas.
Rusty throws a punch like a man. And the girls, pound for pound, I think, put more into it than the men.
Oh, did she snap that head back?
Timid on the part of Thomas coming off the ropes. I'm not quite sure she had decided in her mind what she wanted to do or which way she wanted to go, and it didn't help her in the least. Not running into a woman that's bigger than you are.
And scoop slam by Reggie Bennett. Up splash. Count of 1, count of 2, and Rusty is able to kick her off at the count of 2.
Rusty used all that weight to get up into the air and come down on her and really knock the air out of her.
Into the corner. Now, what's Reggie going to do? And just decides to hammer away. Try to pull her off. Thomas didn't want to come, so make the best of it. Now Rusty Thomas again on her knees, not wanting to tango with Bennett. Rusty Thomas inviting one of the fans in.
Take my place.
Yeah, sorry, it's not a tag team matchup.
I think she got the wind knocked out of herself pretty good there. Only thing is, I hate to see Reggie back off the way she is.
And Rusty kind of throws her hands up in disgust and not wanting any part of Reggie Bennett. Asking for a timeout. There is none. Referee continue to count. Now Rusty backs Reggie into the ropes.
Believe me, there are times when you're in the ring and things are happening to you, you do ask yourself, what am I doing here?
Oh, Reggie tried to catch her with a clothesline, didn't quite, but that power scooped her right up with a scoop slam.
And that's the thing. I mean, she's just that much bigger where neither one of them had any momentum. Rusty just ran into something that she couldn't handle.
Oh, what a spinning backbreaker. What a move. Hooks the leg. Count of 1, count of 2. Evidently it was a count of 3.
Well, now we come to the part of the show I know Joe Pedicino's been waiting for.
Jim, wait a minute, just a second.
can't speak anymore.
I'm being told.
Are they out here? The FBI has finally found you?
Bonnie Blackstone is on the phone with Wally Carbo and with the other commissioners.
Oh, that must be interesting.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm being told that they have information on the big pay-per-view coming up this fall. Well, Bonnie is on the phone, and before we go off the air today, we hope to have some comments from Bonnie Blackstone and Wally Carbo and some big announcements about that big pay-per-view.
Well, that's going to be the first time I ever actually wanted to speak to Bonnie Blackstone, because I'm interested, just like I think everybody out there is. The first LPWA pay-per-view event, we're going to find out a little bit more about it later on in the program, I guess. And also remember, and don't forget, whatever you do, that Commissioner Wally Carbo has announced that coming up in the next few weeks, there's going to be some rules changes in the title matches here in the LPWA. They've undergone some revision, and they're contemplating some different things. So the rules changes in the LPWA title picture will also be announced in the next couple of weeks. And now we got to look at Terry Power. I know you've been waiting all day for this.
Just breaks my heart. I mean, Terry, of course, is currently in Japan. She's one of the top lady wrestlers in the world today. And we are going to be seeing Terry Power in action. As a matter of fact, I think that she is the ultimate female. I believe that's what they call her, isn't it, Jim?
The ultimate female. I'm waiting to find somebody. Where in the world is the queen?
Well, let's go. Excuse me. Let's go take a look right now at the ultimate female.
Terry, isn't this a little unusual? You've got a big match coming up in all just about 35 minutes, and here you are still working out in the gym.
I believe, Ken, that, you know, what you put into things is exactly what you get out of them. So I want to be the best I can be out there.
Terry, how did you get into bodybuilding in the first place?
Well, Ken, you know, every woman wants to look and feel good about themselves, and so I started out with a little bit of aerobics and some stretching to keep real agile, because that's really important, and then began lifting, and it became an art form for me, and I enjoyed the results that I was producing.
Well, I think everyone will agree the results are nothing short of awesome, if you will. Now, Terry, how did someone with your looks, your brains, your personality get into professional wrestling?
Well, I watched it when I was a little girl, and I was in awe of the women. There weren't that many at the time, but I used to love to watch them wrestle, and I hope that when I became older, I could have something to contribute to the sport.
Terry, have you set any short-range goals for yourself here in the LPWA?
Well, right now, my goal is each time I step in the ring to get a little bit better, to remember a little more, and to become better at what I do in there.
Terry, how about long-range goal?
Long-range goal? I think that strap around Susan Sexton's waist is looking real good.
A very admirable goal indeed. With Terry Power, I'm Ken Resnick on the road here in the LPWA. We'll be back.
Is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, weighing 165 pounds from North Minneapolis, Minnesota, Dangerous Denise Storm. And her opponent this evening, from Portland, Oregon, weighing 148 pounds, Terry Power.
There she is, the Tower of Power. Taking on, and a lady whose name I will never forget, Denise Storm.
Well, if we can just delay for maybe a moment or two your excessive lusting after Terry Power, I want to make note that Denise Storm, we have heard so much about this young lady. She is a tremendous wrestler, a tremendous athlete. Look at her, and also has a tremendous attitude as well. She is going to take Terry Power to the limit, and I think, as you can see from the size and the way that Denise Storm is built, that we may have found a match for the powerhouse of the LPWA, Terry Power.
Well, Denise seems to be very confident at this point, I will say that.
She's not conceited, she's just convinced. And she's convinced that she can take Terry Power. She's got good height, she's got a good physique, and she has dumped Terry Power with 2 big body slams so far, and now telling the people here in Laughlin, Nevada, just exactly what else she's going to do to the powerhouse. Would you quit drooling and dribbling, please, Joe? I'm afraid you get in our TV equipment. You'll electrocute us. Terry Power ought to exhibit a little more scientific wrestling conduct in her attack here. She has broken every rule.
Give me a break, James.
All right, what would you like?
Watching the same match?
What would you like broken? Your arms, your legs? What? No, come on, Joe. I'm being serious. Man, Terry Power's taking advantage of this situation.
She's taking advantage of having the superior strength. She has not done illegal moves unless it has been in retaliation. Denise Storm is the one that has been using all of the tactics, like right there, using the hair, pulling her hair back right in front of the referee.
2 wrongs don't make a right. Now, suppose Terry Power was out there.
Yeah, see, a rake of the eyes.
Suppose Terry Power was out at the airport. She was in the cockpit of that twin-engine Cessna that she flies around in her spare time, and all of a sudden another Cessna comes by and buzzes her. Does that give her the right to engage in a dogfight? No, because 2 wrongs do not make a right. I rest my case. Next witness.
You rest in peace.
Hey.
I mean, this is inside a wrestling ring, Jim, and yes, as a matter of fact, retaliation is a major part of professional wrestling here in the LPWA. And I'm sure that Terry Power has retaliation for these type moves right here on her mind right now. Denise Storm misses with that clothesline. Terry Power hits with a cross-body block, and Storm able to kick out and giving Storm her due. She has been able to stand up to Terry Power.
Look at that aggression. Look at that. She is taking the match to Terry Power, kicking, stomping, throwing the hair back, trying to snap her neck. She is just
once again, she uses the hair to drive Power down to the mat face first.
Denise Storm, I've never seen anybody so far in the LPWA handle Terry Power like Denise Storm has been able to. Now, that's just to say how good Denise Storm seems to be.
Well, she certainly has the upper hand even as we speak. But she had better be careful, because if Terry Storms gets, Terry Power rather gets a little bit
that's easy for you to say.
Off. No, it's not. Oh, beautiful neck breaker.
That's it, she said. It's over with. If Terry Power gets up from this, I'll be greatly surprised. Then she come out.
Not only did she come out of it, she powered her off. Storm now going up to that top rope. What's she going to do coming off the top rope? Very dangerous move. Comes off the top rope with a double sledgehammer right down on Power.
Brother, I tell you what, she hit her hard and she hit her heavy. Count of 2, and Power comes out one more time. I don't believe she could absorb another blow like that. Denise Storm came right off that top rope halfway across the ring with the double axe handle. Now sends Power into the turnbuckles, and she charges.
Misses.
Wait a minute, missed it.
Terry Power just fell down out of the way right at the right moment, and Denise Storm went running chest first into the turnbuckle. Came in and tried for another one of those sledgehammers, but Power was ready for her and used the foot. And there she does again, those strong legs.
It looks like Terry Power is firing up. Now she meets her with a right. Terry Power on the attack, drives Denise Storm back into the corner. Joe,
chops. There's 2. You can hear him all the way over here, Jim. Takes and throws Storm into the corner, comes in with a clothesline.
Boy, this Terry Power, not only a wrestler, but also a bodybuilder as well. She's really taking it to Denise Storm and showing that conditioning in effect.
And look at this. Now Storm powers out, but Powers is waiting. Denise Storm tried a very good move, tried a reverse spine breaker, but it did not work. And now Powers with a power slam.
Very, very good. Powers with a power slam. She ought to. Going for a side salto. Takes her down. Terry Power has just been tremendous in the last 45 seconds and 60 seconds of this contest. She absorbed a tremendous beating from Denise Storm, and Storm got the knees up. Don't think that Terry caught the full brunt of the knees.
No, I think she was able to move down, but it was able to stop her. But now here goes Denise Storm up to that top rope again. If she comes down with those axe handles again, and shook the ropes. Power, she was up there, and Terry Power shook the ropes, causing Storm to fall, and here it comes. Here's the power play. 1, 2, and 3. Denise Storm puts up a great fight, but in the end, it's the Powerplex that does it for Terry Power.
Here's our winner, Terry Power!
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, if Denise Storm had been able to get one more of those double axe handles off that top rope end, she would have won that contest, I'm sure of.
Well, just a mistake on the part of Denise Storm, and this match might have been a different ending.
Wait a minute.
LPWA, Terry Power over Denise Storm narrowly, but hey, in the record book, it still went down.
They must have searched all day to find Power, Bambi, and Bennett winning matches. I'll tell you something, Reggie Bennett is going to have a lot of problems with Dangerous Denise Storm when they get back here in this country, because Dangerous Denise is not going to stop at where she left off before, just costing Reggie Bennett the title. She's going to take Reggie Bennett out. That's all I got to say.
Well, right. Well, I happen to think that Reggie Bennett, when they do get back from Japan, is going to take Denise Storm by piece by piece.
Yeah, she's going to have problems. That's all I got to say.
Well,
who we got coming up
All right,
next?
let's talk about one of the best little ladies in professional wrestling, Malaya Hosaka. Malaya Hosaka has literally...
Excuse me, I'm sorry. You were talking about Malaya Hosaka and some of the big things happening in the LPWA.
Bonnie, I know
I guess everybody can come in here if they want.
Well, Bonnie, you have been on the phone, I know, with Wally Carbo.
Yes.
Do you have any news about the pay-per-view?
We certainly do,
No,
Joe.
but somebody pressed their garage door opener and Wally's pacemaker, he had a heart attack.
Gentlemen, that includes you too, Jim. We want to announce that the first big LPWA pay-per-view event will in fact be taking place this fall. And from what Commissioner Carbo was telling me and the other officials, it will be emanating from the historical Sands Resort Hotel and Casino on the famous Las Vegas Strip there, Joe. I'm understanding that late-breaking developments have it that the world's title will be defended at this big pay-per-view event, and we want all of our fans to be tuned into their local LPWA programs so that they can keep attuned to which stars are going to be performing there at the pay-per-view event and how they can catch this pay-per-view event that's going to be something everybody is going to want to see.
Well, late-breaking news. Thank you, Bonnie. We appreciate the news.
Yeah, why don't you break on out of here now, Bonnie? Thanks a lot. We know what we need to know.
She has been on the phone with Commissioner Wally Carbo. We now know that it will be in the fall. We now know that it will come from Las Vegas, the historic Las Vegas Strip. You know, the Sands Hotel and Casino have been building a whole new section there with an amphitheater and everything. It is going to be great. We have been trying to negotiate to be the first major pay-per-view event from the Sands, and evidently Mr. Carbo pulled it off.
Yeah, Mr. Carbo probably pulled it off, but he probably had a strain doing it. I'll tell you one thing right now. The Las Vegas Sands Hotel and Casino is a place that not only you're going to see a great pay-per-view, but I'm going to win a lot of money that night, too.
How's that?
I've got a system. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, hopefully your system for that, well, we won't get into that. I was going to talk about managing. But
let's look at Malaya Hosaka.
Malaya Hosaka, she's one of the best little ladies in the professional wrestling ranks, and we'll take a look at her right now.
On the road here in the LPWA, in many vocations, you'll find someone and you'll say to yourselves, yes, they really fit the job they're doing. But with Malaya Hosaka, I think I found, and so will you, that it's about as opposite as you could imagine. In fact, when I told Malaya we were going to come down and film today's On the Road, I said I'd meet her here and she was going to be down a little ahead of time. Now, instead of sightseeing or perhaps reading a pocketbook, I find Malaya Hosaka reading Fundamentals of Trigonometry. Now, I can't imagine this is just everyday pastime reading, is it?
No, I'm taking telecourses at a community college in Florida to go through with a degree so that I can work with juvenile delinquents and the work programs.
And Malaya, I understand it's not just one degree, but multiple degrees you're going after?
Yes, I'll wind up with, I need a child psychology and counseling degree, a secondary and elementary teaching degree, and then I'll also need a degree in criminal justice specializing in juvenile law.
Well, the question that I have really been wondering, given your obvious intellectual abilities, your size, your looks, how in the world did you end up as a professional wrestler?
Well, I was always very athletic through school, and I just enjoyed wrestling, watching it on TV and things like that, and eventually I just decided to see if I could do it. I've always been one to go out and try things that didn't actually fit me.
Now, I understand a little earlier you told me that one of the real reasons you got into professional wrestling was at the urging of your friends. Tell me about that.
My friends were real big fans of wrestling, and I thought it was very stupid. So they said I didn't like anything I was not capable of doing, and I proved them wrong.
Well, you certainly did. The martial arts artist, and certainly as intellectual as they come in the world of professional wrestling. On the road in the LPWA with Malaya Hosaka, I'm Ken Resnick.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Osaka, Japan, weighing 110 pounds, Malaya Hosaka. Her opponent this evening from Mexico, weighing 148 pounds, Alma Alvarez.
Alma Alvarez.
Boy, the way it rolled right off Bill Anderson's tongue, you would think he was a native Spanish-speaking individual.
Well, we have a match of international proportions today on LPWA. We have got...
Let's leave these ladies' proportions out of this, Joe. Let's talk about the match.
Alvarez and Osaka, and the power of Alvarez there, showing that she can use that strength. And now a mare bringing over Osaka. And I am very excited because coming up, we have got the first appearance of the Queen and the Queen's Court. And I am so excited to find out. We will find out today who the Queen of Wrestling is. Beautiful powerbomb by Alvarez. And now she's trying to get the crowd to go along with her. They're not too happy. The crowd here seems to be behind Osaka.
You know, that was a Japanese move, a Japanese style move, and it was done by the Mexican lady. Hosaka always outweighed in the LPWA. She has to rely on speed and quickness, but this Alvarez is giving her everything and more in the way of quickness. So it could be that Hosaka has met her match in that respect.
All right, Osaka into the ring corner now.
Whoa, brother, right off. She swept that right into the chin.
It was a Savate-style kick, and now she throws Alvarez in. She comes over, a somersault right into an elbow. Beautiful move. I mentioned a few weeks ago she had been compared to the great Muta, and that's the kind of moves that we saw from the great Muta when he was visiting the States. And now Osaka has the upper hand. It's reversed. What is Alvarez? And look at that move. We've seen that move before from Osaka, and it works.
It's over.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the bout, Malaya Hosaka.
Well, what a great match with Malaya Hosaka as she takes on Alma Alvarez. Is there something I can help you with here?
I'm just making notes. I'm making notes of every time you do something to cross me, and I'm going to turn it into Commissioner Wally Carbo. And that way, the next time he's got his pacemaker in an uproar and everything, I can be the cause of it instead of somebody else.
All right. I'm going to invite someone in right now who probably is going to cause your pacemaker to jump a little bit.
Bonnie Blackstone coming back out here to tell us something else?
Very special guest. Let's bring out Bambi. She's the Georgia Peach.
Oh, come on.
Bambi?
This peach is the pits. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Don't start. I seem to recall, Jim, that there's been some other times that you've had to eat your words.
That's right.
And Bambi, I know you are leaving tomorrow. You're leaving tomorrow for the tour that is going to Japan. And I know that you're very pleased with that, but there was one thing that sort of disappointed you.
Yeah, that's right. You know, Mimi, she's wrestling over in Germany, and I'm going in a different direction. But Mimi, when you get back, I promise you, I'm going to have a match with you, and I promise you, you'll go down, and I will get revenge for everything that she's done to me.
Well, let's talk about two things that I know you've got to be very excited about. The first one is the pay-per-view. We've just heard the announcement it will take place in the fall from Las Vegas in the Sands Hotel and Casino, and I know that you, I'm sure, are going to be negotiating to be on that pay-per-view.
That's right, you know, and I heard Bonnie say earlier that the title, the World's Champion title would be up, and, you know, I'd love to get my chance. I don't know who they're going to pick, but, you know, I'd love to go up against Lady X again because it was a close match last time, and, you know, it's going to be great, a pay-per-view. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Well, one more thing I wanted to ask you about is I understand there is word out on the streets, you might say.
Yeah, word's out on the street about her, I'll guarantee you that.
That you are going to be featured in a new home video from the LPWA.
That's right. You know, it's coming out real soon. It's called Hi Y'all, I'm Bambi, and I just can't wait. You know, my mom and dad, they're all excited about it. And
what about all the critters? What about all the critters back home on the ranch? Let me ask you one question. When Magnificent Mimi gets back in this country, you are going to have to wrestle her. You're going to face her right here on LPWA television. I remember she dropped you on your head. You were wearing the flea collar for quite a few weeks, and so far you've not gotten back in the ring with her. What makes you think that you're going to be able to get your revenge?
Well, the only reason I haven't got back in the ring with her is because she's afraid to get in the ring with me because she knows what I'm going to do to her. Mimi, when you do get in the ring with me, you'll be sorry for everything you ever done.
All right. Well, I want to thank Bambi for being here. It's good seeing you again. Some words from Bambi on the pay-per-view.
I'd like to thank you for leaving. Thanks a lot.
Are you always this
Did
ornery?
you hear that noise while she was talking? That was TV sets all across America clicking off right and left.
We've got a lot more action coming up on the LPWA on today's special edition, The Good of the LPWA. And any idea what we're going to see now, or do I have to do it all again?
I don't know. I'm totally bumfuzzled as to what's happening here.
It's time for us to go. We'll be back next week. And yes, Jim Cornette is putting together the bad from the LPWA. Till next week, everybody, I'm Joe Pedicino for Jim Cornette. Have a great week.
Oh, this is going to be hot.